Welcome back. Markets are mixed this morning. Take a look at futures indicating a gain for the Dow Industrials and the S&P 500, but the Nasdaq pulling back. But we are in uncharted territory once again this morning. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq hitting all-time highs yesterday. As you can see there, the Nasdaq was up 255, up better than 1%. The S&P was up 39, about 2/3 of 1%. This was fueled by a widening rally in tech stocks, of course, fueled by AI. AMD is extending its massive rally as well after its deal with OpenAI, we told you about yesterday, jumping 11% yesterday, up 43% this week alone. Meanwhile, the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, says AI computing demand has surged substantially over the last 6 months. Joining us now is CPA and market analyst Dan Geltrude. Dan, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Obviously, AI driving so much of this momentum in markets. Do you think that continues this quarter and into next year?
Oh, absolutely. Look, when you look at AI, we are literally just scratching the surface of where this is going to take us. And for those people out there saying, oh, this is going to be like the dot-com boom, they're completely wrong. This is not 1999. This is something completely different. You have real companies with real earnings, real products, and they have cash on their balance sheet. To me, all in.
Yeah, and you know, Mark, for a little while, we were worried that Microsoft wasn't spending what we thought, and it was just narrow tech companies spending on AI. But it feels like things have broadened out, and the money being invested in AI right now is spiking.
It is astronomical how much CapEx is out there for AI. The one thing I am concerned about for next year, though, is that to date, most of the AI CapEx has come out of cash. Next year, companies are going to have to use debt to finance that CapEx. Once you have debt, you now have debt servicing costs. So investors are finally going to expect a little bit of return on that investment. My question for you is, AI, yeah, obviously it's the biggest theme maybe ever. But are you concerned about all these back alley circular deals that all of these companies are making? I mean, OpenAI does a deal with NVIDIA, then they do one with AMD. AMD says if you use my chips, you can buy my stock for a penny. Then you have XAI doing a deal with NVIDIA. Like, what's going on? Everyone's doing business with each other. Is this real business, or are they just like trading stuff, sharing stuff back and forth?
Well, it's hard to say. It's a great point. But you know what it also says is, and I think it's a good thing, there is now a lot of competition in this AI space. Look, we hear about these big names like Palantir and NVIDIA. But to me, it's a good sign to see there are others getting in the game, because competition is going to be what ultimately truly makes AI grow.
Yeah, and you know, Palantir is also overlapping on another story, and that's defense.
Right.
So you've got AI really looking at defense and drone technology and different defense-related technology with a Palantir holding. What about the Fed? I mean, look at interest rates this morning. We got the September Federal Reserve minutes yesterday. The yield on the 10-year right now up 1.25 basis points at 4.13%. The minutes yesterday showed that officials are split on whether or not we're going to see 2 rate cuts or 3 rate cuts this year. Some concerned over a softening labor market. We also should point out gold and silver. Gold smashing records again, topping $4,000 an ounce for the first time ever. A 10% jump just this month. Silver hitting fresh records, up about 15% this month. Investors clearly on defense here with gold and silver, but you also have risk on with stocks and even Bitcoin on the move. What's your take on how to allocate capital here?
Well, I look at it this way. If you're in gold, you're in Bitcoin, stay there. But I got to tell you, it looks a little crowded to me. I think there's other places where you can play defense. I'm going to use a mnemonic code, right? Consumer goods, oil, drugs, energy. To me, those spaces have some excellent companies to play defense, and I would be telling people, hey, don't look to follow the crowd into gold and silver. Look to other places where you actually can do better in the long term.
Well, markets have not even, given any real credence to the fact that the government has been shut down. This is day 9, Chris, and it doesn't feel like investors care. But I got to say, I think Wall Street is going to care at some point. I spoke to somebody last night, and they said to me, we have a huge IPO that we want to do. We can't do it because we can't do the filing because the SEC is closed.
By November 7th, if we don't get the next payroll number, I think investors are going to care.
Me too. I think so, too.
And I think they're ultimately looking past the current state of the shutdown and focused on other big things. Talking to the AI part, I'm glad you mentioned energy. There are much bigger concerns that a lot of these companies have, and then the investors themselves investing in those companies also care about that stuff much more than is the government doing these things, until, of course, the jobs numbers, if that doesn't come out, that becomes a problem. But they're much more focused on, can we build enough energy to power our AI to do the kind of things the economy actually needs?
What are the smartest strategies that you're seeing right now for investors?
Well, I look at it this way. The talk is all about AI. What does AI really need to keep going? They need energy. So I look at a company like Dominion Energy, right? Great dividends, big upside potential. Those are the type of things, Maria, we have to look at, because it's all of these industries that will play off of AI is where you need to look next.
All right, we will leave it there. Dan, great to get your insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan Geltrude here. Stay with us. Breaking news all morning. We'll be right back with more.